Good afternoon. How is everybody doing? For those of you who may not know me, my name is Renarda Joy, and for 30 days, I have committed to giving you tools, tips, and insight for those of you who are new to real estate investing. Now, my mission is to shrink the intergenerational wealth gap through real estate investing, and I have been using this platform to sound the alarm. Now, if you're just joining us, we are on day 26 of the 30 days. And I want to personally invite you to go back and listen to any conversations that you've missed. If you've gotten any value or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Now, for those of you who are here, I want to know who's here. Where are you from? And what value have you gotten? We've been together for the last couple of weeks, and I want to hear how are you building up your arsenal. Now, today's conversation, we're going to talk about negotiation. Yes, we've talked about it for a couple of days, but trust me, negotiation is an interpersonal skill that you would use throughout your entire wealth building journey, right? Remember, negotiation is a conversation. It's not a battle. You don't have to run from it. You're trying to create a win win scenario, right? So let's talk about a couple of things that you can negotiate. Hey, Rosalind, how are you from NYC? So the first thing that you can negotiate is purchase price. Yes, we talked about it yesterday. When we're in a seller's market, there's a bidding war. But even with the bidding war, you don't have to go above and beyond the asking price. The purchase price is always up for negotiation, not as much in the seller's market, but still, you can still try. But before you try, you have to know your budget. And what I suggest is whatever your budget is, come a little bit underneath. Don't give your highest, best number because then you don't have any room to negotiate. And when they come back with a different number, you can decide, does it still meet your budget? Is it worth going above? I mean, you never want to go above your budget, but let's say it's above the number that you gave them. Is the property worth you going above the initial baseline number that you gave them, right? So let's say you got approved for 300,000 and you put in an offer for 275,000 and they came back for 300. Hey, April, is the property worth $300,000? Just because they came back with 300 and you are approved for 300,000 does not mean you have to put an offer in for that amount. It's always up for negotiation. But in order for you to know that information, you have to do your research and you have to stay within your budget. Remember, a lot of people, especially new investors, they get into real estate investing because they think it's glamorous. They think they're just going to get a check at the end of the day and that's it. And that's not the case. Remember, I told you a couple of conversations ago, and I invite you to go back and listen to those conversations. You should always study your P&L, right? Your profit and loss, which tells you a story about your business, your income and your expenses. So your income that's coming in and your expenses that are going out. You should always find ways to increase your income and decrease your expenses. So again, you really have to make sure that you understand what your budget is. The next item that you can negotiate is closing costs. Remember, closing costs is anywhere between 3 to 6% of the purchase price, and that depends on the lender as well as the state. Closing costs can be anywhere from your attorney fees, title company, your lender's fees to record the deed. Those are just a few examples. Both parties, meaning the buyer and the seller, will have fees. Now, you can decide between both of you. This is what's up for negotiation. If somebody's going to pay one side's closing costs, a portion, or all, it's all up for negotiation. The next thing that you can negotiate is repairs. Now, let's say the property, after you get the property, you're not going to be able to, it's a two family. Let's say one floor is not habitable. If you don't have the money to do the repairs, you're not going to be able to make cash flow. And if you're counting on that towards paying your mortgage, now you're going to have to pay out of your pocket. You don't want that. So you can try and negotiate with the seller, but again, you need to know their pain point. What if they're selling this house just so that they don't have to go through a foreclosure and they're selling it where they're breaking even? So there's no wiggle room for you to even go back to them to say, hey, can we negotiate repairs? Again, this is why you have to get the pain points and figure out what you can negotiate. The last thing that I would suggest, and there's many more, so we're only going to go over a couple of them today. The last thing that you can negotiate is appliances. Remember, you're not going to be living in this house. If the appliances are operable and you can just get them clean, why not keep them for your tenants? That's an expense that you don't have to take on. Now, for those of you who are introverts or you're shy, you're not comfortable with negotiating, there's so many different resources out there for you. You can do a Toastmaster, you can do improv storytelling, you can listen to podcasts, you can try it for yourself when you go in the store the next time, go to farmers market, and if they're saying 2 for 18, offer 2 for 16. My point is there's ways for you to work through that. So I hope that this is giving you value. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. And if you're watching this outside of my business Facebook page, I invite you to come back and join me at renardajoylive.com. That's renardajoylive.com. Now, I don't want you to join for the likes. I want you to join just because I want to help. I want you to help me change the narrative of what's being out there, what's being said out there for the next generation. Let's change the trajectory of the next generation by changing the narrative. Now, if you're just joining us, we are wrapping up day 26. And I want to invite you to go back and listen to any of our previous conversations. And if you've gotten any value or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. So I want to say thank you, Dexter and Esther and Joanna, all of you for showing up today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. EST. Have a good evening.